Hi Aquarius, this is your forecast for the month of October 2018. This is a general reading for Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Rising, or Aquarius Moon. For a more rounded overview, please watch your rising and moon sign as well. So Aquarius, this first week of October, you are very focused on gaining some clarity about something, getting to the truth, to the bottom of something, and you may be very logical in your approach. You're using your communication, your reasoning skills, your ability to analyze something in order to get to the bottom of something. For some of you, this is going to play out perhaps through the court system. You may be dealing with legal administrators, lawyers, judges. Maybe you're involved in negotiations or some form of, of a contract could be important. Others of you, there may be some arguments, some confrontations. Somebody may be trying to push their agenda or their idea very forcefully. That could be you. It could be someone that you're dealing with. But this is about you entering some kind of new cycle as far as your mental abilities, your mental strength. Maybe you're getting some inspiration or you're coming up with some ideas about something. So you could be getting a lot of, rapid thoughts. Things are coming to you. And you feel very strongly in identifying with your beliefs. Now, for some of you, this may be a medical issue. Perhaps you're connecting with specialists of some sort. Maybe you're focused on surgery. Whatever it is, this is about authority over ideas, communication, and speech. And so you have a new determination about something. You want to cut through the fog, and you're entering this new cycle of awareness of not only others, but also of self in order to gain some kind of power, truth, or clarity. And this could be a period where you're connecting with people and having a lot of stimulating conversations, some ideas. There are new things on the table, new concepts, new attitudes. And you may be changing the way you communicate for the better. You're certainly thinking about relationships in new and different ways. The only issue is this may be a week where you may not be acting. Maybe, you're attracted to somebody, or you're attracted to forming a partnership or getting some better information, and you're waiting for the other person to make the move, to make the choice, to make the decision. Although you clearly can see right now, where the holes are, what needs to be filled in, what is the missing element in your social connections, your romantic life. And this is a week where there's quite a bit at stake. There is the possibility of some gains or some losses, more so than you had expected. So you're getting to the truth of something, your true desires. You may be tempted toward something or someone, perhaps, there are issues of seduction or fantasy or some kind of unexpected encounter where you gain some enlightenment. Or because of some, confrontation, there could be some thwarted desires. You may be dealing with somebody who is a bully or somebody who is exploiting. So hopefully you're looking at things clearly. If not, this could be a period where there's a decision that goes against you. Maybe you're overthinking something, or there's an offer that's been withdrawn. So for some of you, you're focused on the abuse of power. Somebody's pushing too hard. There's some excessive force, maybe some injustice. Somebody's not paying attention to the feelings of other people. And, maybe there's a breakdown in communication. Somebody is withholding in some way, either through affection, or they're not speaking, or when they do speak, it's very mean-spirited. Because, there's a competitive edge to the dynamic between you and another person. It's always, about winning versus losing. So, trying to go over a situation and over-analyzing to the point of stress is highly possible, or you're experiencing some emotional anxiety, or you can't come up with ideas. There's some stagnation. And, it could be that somebody's trying to force you to do something that you're just not comfortable with. So, This could be a week where you decide you're going to step out there, clear the air, put some things out there, let people know how you feel, or somebody's going to feel cheated. They're going to feel a sense of betrayal because somebody has misrepresented, or that is the perception, that somebody wasn't clear. They wore a false face, or there's been some miscommunication, a misinterpretation of someone's words. So above all else, this is a week to get clear in your own position, your own conviction, and also you get to decide where, or you get to determine where you stand with another person. Both of you will come to discover, how you feel about one another and, where you can go from here. Now, this second week, you have this tie to the past. So you may be gaining some clarity through an old connection. It could be an old friend, somebody from childhood, your own childhood, maybe your children, could be a former lover, somebody connected to your past that is significant. And this could be a week positively that you do have some sharing of ideas and communication. You may be renewing some old ties. You are connecting to those happy memories or sorting that out, getting to the truth of this connection or your outlook or perspective about the past. So there may be a strong focus on your memories, your values connected to family, dealing with children. For some of you, this may involve a move of some sort, or a job offer, or a gift, or perhaps a legal situation where a legacy or an inheritance is involved. So for some of you, you're taking a closer look at your progress. You're getting to the truth of something. And when you look at it, you may feel very blessed about the progress that you've made. For some of you, maybe this is a legal situation or an argument where you ultimately receive some kind of clearance or vindication. So there's an opportunity that presents this week to share with others how you feel and to receive that. And whatever you have planted in the past, those seeds are now going to sprout for you positively or negatively. So you're going to have some encounters and you're going to gain some clarity and some insight, because this is a week where your intuition is very strong. And something feels like a repeat, a do-over, a deja vu experience. And this is a week to pay attention to your intuitive hunches, your dreams, messages that come to you, because those are on point. And you're going to be hearing from someone or about someone from your past. And positively, there could be new chances for things that maybe you thought you didn't have the possibility of, some new avenue that you can explore, or an opportunity that you had given up on. So this is a week to trust, or trust issues are important. The support that you receive from other people, the confidence you have in yourself, and whether you feel protected or where you feel vulnerable is going to be important. Now, for some of you, something is going to catch up with you. The truth is going to come out about some kind of past indiscretion, a mistake, or perhaps a medical issue that you now have to deal with. And so in some cases, you're going over the past in a negative way. You're hearing from people that you don't want to hear from, or you're having to connect with people that you were trying to avoid. And for some of you, you're having to get to the truth, or difficulty getting to it, because you're living in the past. You can't seem to adapt to the present circumstances. And so your nostalgia in many ways is unproductive. There's a need to release some old emotional ties, or you're dealing with the repercussions of your past. There's some kind of expectation that you want that's not coming through at the time that you want. Something may be postponed or delayed, or you're really having to deal with letting go of some outmoded beliefs or values. And for some of you, there's some worry about your children. So the past is playing perhaps a small role, but nonetheless a significant role on your decisions that you're making about the present and how concerned you are about your future. Now, the third week, you have the Eight of Cups. There's something that you are seeking, and you are leaving something behind in order to find that. Maybe the past behind, or maybe you're walking away from the truth, or you're walking away from your perception about the past, or something to do with your childhood. Something about what is behind you is unsatisfactory. But you have to be clear, because you may be, going too far. Maybe you're tossing the baby out with the bathwater. This is about searching for a deeper meaning, and in some cases, moving on. There's a weariness that you feel, and some circumstance has now reached a turning point, and you don't know where you're headed from this point onward. Maybe you lost interest in something, or you were disappointed by someone. Maybe you've decided to become more self-reliant. You're going to release those emotional ties that have kept you stuck. So you're turning your back on a difficult situation or a lifestyle that doesn't work for you, and trying to direct your energy towards some new interests. Again, that may take the form of some transition that you're involved in. Maybe you're leaving home, or you're involved in a new relationship, or you're changing your job. There is the decline of one situation so that you can greet another one. And in some cases, for some of you, there's a blonde who's going to be helpful in that pursuit. So this is going to be another week of getting some clear reality checks so that you can check in with self, get your balance back, find out your sense of where your sense of purpose is. So you want to make your own decisions. You don't want to be controlled by the past. You want to decide what's best for you. And this is a week where if you were going back and forth, if there was some hesitancy or some doubt about what your path was, you're going to reconcile those differences. You're looking at the things that have been blocking you, getting in the way of you being you, undermining your individuality, and you're going to put a close to that. And this could be a week where you find that comes with ease. Maybe it's easier than you expected to walk away from a situation, or to take charge of something that needs to be addressed, or to save something. That may be tied to a circumstance or a habit or people that just weren't good for you. So you may have a newfound appreciation for life, where you feel a sense of gratification, you're enjoying where you're headed, you feel a sense of contentment, you feel like you have what you need, and you are feeling more hopeful about the future than you are with what has been in the past for you. But for some of you, you are refusing to leave the past. You have a difficult time with this ending. And, you are clinging to the past because of fear of the unknown. Maybe you've made the wrong decision, or maybe there's some difficulty in making a commitment on someone's part. Maybe you are pursuing a false ideal and you need to deal with the truth. In some cases, again, maybe you threw the baby out with the bathwater. You abandoned a valuable relationship simply because you had a fear of intimacy. In some cases, you made a change, and maybe the change is something that you're going to regret. So for some of you, you're holding on to something. And, maybe you don't even really know what you want. Your truth is colored, tainted by the past. And you're going to have to spend some time alone to discover who you are and what you really desire. It could be that you've been beating yourself up. You thought you had to be a certain thing, or you had to live up to a certain standard. And now you're dealing with the truth of a situation that's challenging, that's difficult. And again, you may decide to go into some kind of exile in order to sort some things out. There's some kind of emotional transformation taking place. It could be a spiritual reawakening of sorts. You are focused on your individuality, which is a strong theme that's important to you as an Aquarius. So something is going to unfold that allows you to look at yourself and to come to the truth of whether you've been making the most of who you are and what your talents are. Now, the last week you have the Magician. For some of you, there's a strong tie to a Gemini person. But for others of you, this may represent a son, a brother, an agent, a medical specialist, somebody who has some kind of technical knowledge or expertise, or somebody who uses special tools or information, or it could be your own power to manifest your desires. For some of you, this may be a lover. This is somebody who is very good with language, with speaking, with manipulating, and I don't mean that in a negative way, manipulating the external world. He knows what he wants, he has a clear vision, and he knows how to make things happen. For some of you, this is something creative or artistic, or you're connecting with somebody who is involved in that. Somebody connected to the arts, a writer, an artist, a craftsperson, or this could be a teacher, or, somebody who is a speaker, or somebody who, maybe they have a command over language or many languages. So this is about the proper use of power. And for some of you, you will be focusing your energy toward a specific goal, maybe to master some kind of knowledge or skill, or maybe you are self-employed, or you're marketing or promoting yourself or your talents. This is going to be a week where your ability to make a decision is going to be important. So your confidence level is important. Your self-reliance is very high right now. You are very determined, and there are opportunities that are presenting. You may be facing some challenges, some obstacles, some problems, but the Magician gives you the ability to solve those, not necessarily at first crack, but you experiment, you try and see what works. And so for some of you, you are, again, promoting something, an idea, a concept, through looking after your own needs. There's a strong willingness to apply yourself to make some progress, and you could very well be rewarded for that this week. Maybe you get some recognition or a gift for your efforts and for your services, because you are learning the truth about your own personal power, and that brings you closer to success. You may be focused on your self-expression, whether that is through your words, through your ideas, your concepts, or your talents. This is about you being in the spotlight and shining through your creativity, through your confidence, through your skill set. And so for some of you, again, you are manifesting something that you want to happen. But the Magician also has a negative side, and you may be taking on those traits, or perhaps you are meeting those traits in other people. This is somebody who is a pretender. He is acting like he knows something that he doesn't necessarily know. Or, there could be some delays that you have to deal with, or you may be afraid to take a chance on something. Maybe there's a waste of energy or resources, or somebody's unrealistic about their goals. You may be dealing with the consequence of some mistake that you made, perhaps where you were overconfident, or you played, your hand and took a risk and it didn't pay off for you. Maybe, you have some kind of difficulty with equipment. Or, maybe you're not using your talent to the best. Or perhaps there's some romantic issues where you feel inhibited in some way. So there could be extremes, a lack of confidence or extreme arrogance. And at his very worst, this is a user, somebody who is manipulating for personal gain. They want something, and they know how to exploit to go get it. So for some of you, this is the liar, the con artist, the opportunist, somebody taking advantage. And this is also a week for you to be mindful of where you are not having self-mastery as far as your emotions and your speech. Maybe you get angry, or you're impatient about something, and you actually work against yourself and create a disappointment. Maybe it's because you're so focused on your own needs, your own self-interest, and you have a total disregard for other people, their opinions, their advice, or assistance. And so you may be coming to terms with an ugly truth, or someone else is, or you're coming to the truth about who a person may be. So this is a good week to rely on self and your own strengths, talents, and abilities. And if this is a Gemini, if you don't have that strongly in your chart, and this is also a major card, there are a lot of things about your situation that you don't have control over. Now, the underlying energy is the Justice card. So for many of you, there's a strong focus on a legal situation, or just the need to make a decision, or perhaps to apologize. Maybe, you're dealing with some false accusations, again, some manipulators, something that is corrupt, and where there's been some unfairness. So there could be a focus on settling some old debts and getting to the truth about something, maybe a legal affair or trying to restore the balance of something. And it's going to be very important that the parties involved are impartial, that you're not allowing your own perception of the truth, as opposed to the real truth of a situation, distort your circumstances. This is some kind of bias or prejudice, or that you may not be aware of, but is operating in your decision. So this is a week to really strongly examine your own conscience about what integrity means. So you are carefully considering something. Now, for some of you, this is a creative thing. You are an artistic person. You've got a lot of ideas. You're using your intellect. It may have to do with creating something, a sense of proportion, where line and beauty and form is very important. Again, for many of you, this is going to be the intervention of the law, a trial, a court case, some kind of litigation, or you're in a negotiation process. Maybe you're going over a contract or some kind of binding agreement or a settlement. Or you may be dealing with people who are very authoritative that can enforce a decision or justice. It's for sure that, there are going to be some new circumstances that you have to deal with. And if you can take that in stride without letting it upset all areas of your life, then you're going to be okay. You're going to have to adjust to new information, new circumstances that have come up unexpectedly. And maybe they require you to walk away in some instances or try to solve some kind of problem. It could be that, you want to make changes that make you feel better about you and your situation. Or maybe you're trying to help somebody and you're making changes that accommodate them. Or you're dealing with some kind of loss and you're forced to adjust to some changes. And this is going to be a month where people are making decisions, they're making judgments. And, if you've made a mistake or an error or a bad call, you're going to have to deal with the truth and the consequences of that now. People aren't going to let you slip by without, calling you out on your mistakes. But this is definitely a month to try to right a situation, to restore some kind of balance where things are off in your life, whether that means looking at your health and practicing a better life regimen. If maybe you need to do more walking or hiking or exercise or movement, or you need to eat better, or maybe you need to go to the doctor, or maybe you need surgery. There's something perhaps you need to address health-wise. Or if you have a legal situation, maybe you're focused on clearing up old debts or, collecting something. Maybe you're involved in negotiations, or maybe you're a workaholic and you need to find time for your personal life, for some retreat, for some meditation. Whatever it is, this is about order and trying to come up with a better routine in your daily life. So you're looking at extremes where either you've taken on too much or you simply haven't done enough. But the bottom line is what is fair to all parties involved. Now, this is going to be a month where you get some illumination, through the courts or through trying to restore something or connecting to people with special expertise. You may be giving advice that is illuminating, or you may be getting that, but you are trying to solve problems. And either you are initiating something or coming to realize that you need to take on a stronger leadership role. This is going to be a month where if you look at what needs to be restored, you can reorganize your agenda, your priorities, so that you can deal with the obligations that you face and feel a sense of security about that. But for some of you, there's something going on where you may want to remove yourself, and yet you find that you are entangled in something where that's difficult. Your sense of integrity is either going to be challenged or rewarded on some level. And if you don't feel confident, if you're not using that magician, your strengths, your ability to solve a problem, your belief in self, then you're going to be vulnerable to some bad advice. The more uncomfortable you are, the more likely you are to be exploited in some way. But if you're feeling good about who you are, then, sooner than later, you're going to be able to distinguish what's important and what's insignificant, what you should be dealing with and what is simply trivial and where you should walk away. So you're going to be able to make decisions and hold firm to those decisions because those are what's best for you. Now, again, this is all about judgment. What I think of you, what you think of me, where that comes from. Is it rooted in childhood? Is it about the past? Does the past still serve? Or is this outdated? And so you may be taking offense to something. Maybe somebody says something to you, or they give you a suggestion or maybe a criticism even, and you take offense to that or you offer that. Somebody is operating through some kind of lens that no longer serves in some cases. Now you have two major cards. So there are decisions to be made, problems to be solved, some goal to achieve. And something is not clearly worked out yet. It could be somebody's been unrealistic. They've got these pie-in-the-sky ideas, or that you're working on something. The details have not fully formed yet. You can't really see the full picture yet because you're still working on those details. But there may not be a lot of movement. There's something about a situation where there's apathy, either on your part, another person's part, or the circumstances. There may not be the desire or the drive or even the energy to move forward. For some of you, this may be the ability to move on from, a child, or walking away from a child, or the past, or a friendship, or perhaps moving toward a new relationship with someone. For some of you, maybe this is about, even a physical situation, your ability to walk. So for some of you, there may not be enough energy to make things happen. Maybe you're overcoming an illness, or you're trying to solve a problem in a relationship, or you're trying to communicate your emotional needs. Or in some cases, if this is creative, you're participating in discussions that center around the arts. But your thinking needs to be grounded in reality. And in fact, somebody's too passive, too emotional. Although there is enough energy here through the swords and perhaps the magician where you don't get lost. There's some reason and some logic that helps you clear the fog of a situation. And this is centering around your partnerships, your attachments to others, your loyalty, your devotion versus your suspicious or your anxiety about a connection, and your ability to make things happen. All right, Aquarius, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to subscribe, and you can always join me on Instagram, over at Patreon for extra perks, and at my blog for a daily post. And you can always book a personal reading at thealchemistastrologer.com.